Old question.
Oh. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name's Gabi.
I'm Charlotte.
And today we've got a sedan and an SUV. Our Kia K4, which is our most affordable and most compact vehicle in our lineup, but also the Kia Seltos, which is by far one of our best sellers, right, Charlotte?
I think it probably is the best seller.
So in today's video, we're doing a walkthrough of both LX trims, which if you aren't familiar with, is our entry model here in Canada. So two base models compared, giving you everything you need to know about the introductory trim for either vehicle. This is going to be a great video if you are asking that question, is it going to be a compact sedan or a compact SUV? Now, Charlotte, what are we covering in today's video?
Well, in today's video, we're covering pretty much anything. If you can't tell by these videos, they are done live, so they are a live stream video. And the purpose of that is that way we can use that live chat. That way, if you guys have questions throughout the video, you can put them in the chat. And if you're watching this after it's already posted and still have questions, leave them down below as a regular comment, but not before you subscribe and like this video, because we're going to be talking about the powertrain that both of these vehicles share, the interior, the exterior, the differences, and why you might want to pick one over the other.
Should we get into it?
Let's go.
All right, you guys, do you want to see Seltos first or K4 first? Or should I pick? Okay, I'll pick.
The blue one.
The blue one. So we have both vehicles showcased in blue today, definitely different shades of blue. This is our Azure blue, only available on the Kia K4 as of now. And then for the Kia Seltos, we have it showcased in our Pluton blue. The only blue currently available. Actually, no, there's another blue. Never mind, you guys.
Liar.
All right, let's take a look at the front end of the K4 first, and then we'll work our way over to the Kia Seltos. So both these vehicles share a very close price point. On the LX, however, it is going to be the more affordable of the two in terms of the K4 versus the Seltos, I should say. So on this introductory trim, you're already greeted with LED headlamps. You'll notice both the daytime running light, that amber light you see, it's pretty bold, hard to miss, but also the main headlamp unit itself will be full LED. There's no upgrades you have to go to get this lighting sequence. Another couple things that do make the Kia K4 quite special is the fact that we have never really seen before in an introductory trim safety. So that's going to come down to this radar plate right down here. This plate is going to give you advanced smart cruise control. That means that this vehicle will be able to set its following distance based off you as the driver. There's 4 different presets, and work in stop and go conditions. So if you're driving, coasting nicely on the highway, but all of a sudden it turns into stop and go traffic, don't worry, the car will handle it all for you. It's a great safety function to have, and again, all standard. You also have an advanced forward collision avoidance system, so this system will also work in junctions. So think of very busy intersection and you're making a left-hand turn. The vehicle is constantly going to be scanning to make sure that there's no risk of a collision, and if there is, it does have the capability of braking to avoid said crash. So it's a pretty smart car indeed. I'm going to pop the hood to talk about powertrain. Now, both of these vehicles are available with the same powertrains. So if you're getting the K4 in the LX, EX, or EX Plus trim level, you'll have a 2-liter, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It's going to give you 147 horsepower with 132 pound-feet of torque. And spoiler alert, those numbers are the exact same on the Kia Seltos.
No way.
Yeah, there's no power difference between the two. But this vehicle will, of course, have a sedan-like handling compared to the SUV Seltos. So 147 horse with 132 pound-feet of torque. That's also going to be tied to an IVT transmission, or intelligent variable transmission. Basically, what you need to know about that is the vehicle is intelligent in the way it finds its pre-selected gear shift ratios, so it will always have the correct gear for whatever kind of driving you're doing. If it's going uphill, going downhill, the vehicle will be in its most efficient setting. So there's no preset gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. The vehicle will find it. So it's infinite. The possibilities are infinite, and they're intelligent.
And that's the exact same for the Seltos, right?
Yes. So same powertrain. Like I said, there's 2 different options though. So if you're getting the LX, EX, or EX Plus Kia K4, it's this 2-liter 4-cylinder. If you move up to the GT line turbos, it's going to be a 1.6-liter turbo. Now on the Seltos side of things, the LX, EX premium models will all have a 2-liter, and then once you move up to the SX turbo and above, it's going to have a 1.6-liter turbo as well. And then again, same powertrain, same transmission. So 8-speed for the turbo for both cars, IVT for the naturally aspirated for both cars as well. Back to the K4 though. For your wheels, you get steel wheels with covers. So these are a 16-inch steel wheel with this pretty nice cover. I will say it's fairly heavy duty. We just had an older Forte 5 in our video bay. It was a used car that we sold, and it had those cheap, not great wheel covers that fly off on the highway. These aren't the case. These ones are, they're on, they're staying there. All-season tire with this vehicle, and it's only front-wheel drive, so you can only get this vehicle with the front-wheel drive configuration. And with that being said, this vehicle will outperform the Kia Seltos in terms of fuel efficiency, even if you're getting the Kia Seltos in a front-wheel drive configuration too, simply because this vehicle is smaller. It's a smaller vehicle. It just makes sense, you guys. All right, surrounding your wheel arches, you get a little bit of black plastic. Beautiful body color. And then when it comes in terms to your mirrors, body color with a hint of black at the bottom. The K4 LX does not come with blind spot detection, so that will be a win for the Kia Seltos where you do get it in the LX trim. But let's talk about more wins for the K4. You guys, there's some stuff happening in the background.
Brief intermission. Pat Hart, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the video.
Okay, back to the video. For your door handles, body color with push access. So as long as you've got the key on it, you can just simply press the button on the door handle, whether it be the driver or passenger side, to unlock or lock your doors, whichever you need it for. Towards the back of the car, you'll notice your rear door handle is actually pillar mounted, so something a bit different. This is our first vehicle to have a door handle mounted on the pillar, which is quite nice. And then very wide body lines towards the back end of the vehicle. So it definitely has a bit more like our Kia Stinger, a Coke bottle-esque silhouette, so definitely wider in the hips. For the back end of this vehicle, obviously you're gonna have less trunk space than the Kia Seltos. Of course, this is a sedan, so it's kind of to be expected, but you do have a trunk release right over here with the proximity function. So if you have the proximity function enabled, I can simply walk up to the back end of my K4 and it'll power open for me, allowing me to easily put my stuff in without having to drop it down to find that button. All right, let's open it up. There's about 413 liters of cargo space in here, which is quite impressive.
There's about, gives the exact number.
You guys, we're so factual. All right, underneath the floorboard, you will notice we do have a compact spare tire. So something that's fairly rare in the compact segment, especially compact sedans. Very nice to have, however, especially if you are someone who commutes on the highway. The worst thing you want to do is be stuck on the side of the road with no spare. Okay, let's close this up. I'll talk fuel efficiency real quick. You guys, I'm so sorry. This is
chaotic. This
is a very chaotic video. They're not always like this. Even the start of the video is chaotic. For your fuel tank, it's a 47-liter tank, which is smaller than the Kia Seltos. The Kia Seltos is a 50-liter. Regular unleaded fuel is just fine for this car, and it's rated at 7 liters per 100 kilometers combined. Now, this specific trim level, the LX, is actually going to get better fuel efficiency than the EX or EX Plus, simply because the wheels are smaller and there is less equipment in this car. So no sunroof, none of that kind of stuff. But you will get 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway for this vehicle. So just highway, not combined, but still, that's an amazing number. Amazing, amazing. There's a lot more tech advancements on the K4, I will admit, and that's simply because it's a brand new model to Kia's lineup, so it's going to come straight out of the factory with a ton of options, but it is very impressive to see so much, especially on the LX model, which we never really had in the past. A couple more things I'll point out as we walk our way over to the Seltos. This vehicle also has lane keep and lane follow assist, which is fantastic, and then of course that smart cruise control and advanced forward collision avoidance that I mentioned earlier. Now time for the Seltos. So this is the Seltos LX, of course, so entry trim. You can get this with either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive configuration. It's a $2,000 difference to get the all-wheel drive, so $2,000 more expensive. However, the front end styling and detail will remain the same whether it's front-wheel or all-wheel. For your headlamps, you'll notice that you do have traditional bulbs or halogen bulbs. So they do emit a bit of heat, but they're certainly not as sharp or bright as a full LED. Your front end has a nice bit of this kind of matte, I don't want to say matte, but satin chrome with some matte plastic in the middle. There's no advanced forward collision avoidance on this vehicle, but you do have collision avoidance assist, so it can predict any sort of general crash, so if something happens directly in front of you, but nothing like a lane change oncoming or junction turn. This will also work for pedestrians and cyclists. Works in the same sense that it will warn you like the K4 would and react if you as a driver fail to hit the brakes. There's also lane keep and lane follow assist systems as well too to help keep you centered in your lane, all of which can be turned off though if you're not a fan of it. Now under the hood, like I said, it's exactly the same as the K4, but I'm still gonna pop it for you guys anyway just so you can see.
Just while Gabby's doing that, it's really cool to see the inclusion of fog lights on an introductory level trim. Sometimes you have to go up a couple trims for that.
Yeah, so projection fog lamps. Always nice to see a fog lamp. All right, let's lift the hood. Both vehicles use prop arms for their hoods. 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, same horsepower, same torque, 147 horse, 132 pound-feet.
Yeah, there you go.
Whew, you guys. For your wheels though, this is where things get very different. So we do have a 17-inch alloy, not steel wheel. This wheel design is shared whether you get the front wheel or all-wheel drive, even if you get the trim level above the EX. You get a side reflector right over here. And again, another nice thing about the Seltos is it's an SUV without a doubt. So you will have a higher ride height and you're also going to get more ground clearance. There's just over 7 inches of ground clearance on this vehicle, which makes it very, very handy, especially in Canada where we do get snowstorms apparently. Last week we did. So having that ground clearance and of course snow tires too make this even better. For your mirrors, body color with a turn signal indicator. I don't know if you caught it, but the K4 did not have a turn signal indicator on the LX trim. You also get blind spot detection, which is a trim or a feature that is not available on the K4 LX. For your door handles though, that's where things get a little bit different. You'll notice that there's no button for easy entry. This vehicle does have a turnkey ignition, so no remote start built onto the key fob on the LX. However, it is available still on the Kia Seltos. You'll just have to go up a trim level to the EX model. Now, when it comes in terms of styling of this vehicle, again, without a doubt, it's an SUV. We got roof rails up at the top. Definitely a higher ride stance, of course. Very easy to get in and out of. So if you are someone who, maybe you're older or you have mobility issues, when you're hopping into the K4, you're going down. This vehicle, I would say, you're not really climbing up like a giant SUV or a truck, and you're not going down like a little sedan. So it's kind of the perfect entry height for most people.
It's very comfortable, for sure.
A lot of people say they find this vehicle very easy to get in and out of.
Easy to ease into, for sure.
Yeah, it's perfect size. Towards the back end of the vehicle, you have regular bulbs, with the exception of an LED high-mounted stop lamp. Seltos badging on the left-hand side, and just a beautiful design. I think the way they integrated the tail lamps into the actual trunk itself looks fantastic. I'll open it up, and you'll definitely see there's, of course, going to be more space with the Kia Seltos. That's given with an SUV versus sedan. And a little bit of easier to access space as well, too, because it's essentially part of the cabin. Now, if you do need to knock down those rear seats, you certainly can. It's easier to do so if you go from the rear passenger doors. However, you can reach it from the trunk if you got long enough arms like me. Underneath the floorboard, you do have a compact spare tire and a little bit of tape.
Trash.
Awesome. A little bit of tape too, so both vehicles have compact spare tires. This vehicle has a slightly larger fuel tank, so it's about 50 liters for, not about, it is 50 liters for the fuel tank. Same thing though, regular unleaded fuel is just fine for this car. And it is a little bit more fuel hungry than the Kia K4. Now Charlotte, should we take a look inside?
Yeah, which one do you guys want to see first on the inside? Do you want to do K4, Seltos, or should Gabi pick?
K4.
K4. Gabi pick K4. All right, so let's take a look on the interior. Now, I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit more general, and in this time, I'll probably try to talk about, in which case would either vehicle benefit a certain type of driver. And so if you guys have any questions or input, feel free to put it in the chat too. I also just want to have Gabi give that really good pan of the cabin, because one of the main differences between these vehicles is going to be how the interior is set up. It's very different, and some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, and that's why you have the options to choose. All right, so let's talk about first what we see for the K4. On this side, a couple items that I do want to point out is the fact that we have a two-tone door. I think it looks really good. Another item that's going to be different is the fact that we have those comfort controls located on the door. So for the driver and the passenger, heated seats is going to be located on the door. Now, both vehicles are going to have electronically controlled mirrors, an obstacle detecting with pinch protection driver window, and then regular automatic windows. Both are also going to have a bottle holder and storage compartment and a speaker system. Now, where that's going to differ is the K4 is going to have 4 speakers in the introductory level trim, whilst the Seltos has 6. But something the K4 does have more of is this vehicle actually has 8 airbags, whereas the Seltos is going to have 6. So, interesting to see the differences there. However, both vehicles are rated in the event of a collision to 5 stars by the NHTSA. So in the event of a collision, although they have so much active safety, should something happen, they are quite safe vehicles, which is something to definitely put your mind at ease, and I'm glad they tie in that area. Some other safety features that the K4 and Seltos are going to share are things like safe exit assist. Oh, sorry, I'm just configuring my seat here a little bit. They're also going to go and share a rear occupant alert. They're also going to share a rear view camera. And this one is even going to have driver's attention warning, which is going to let you know if a vehicle ahead of you is moving away. Very handy to have. The seats are quite comfortable. Both vehicles are going to be cloth. I will say I actually find the K4 seats a little bit more comfortable for the seats themselves, and that has to do with the fact that they include more padding than the Seltos because they have a lighter seat frame. Now both seats are going to be manual. I love the fact that we have a height adjustment for this one, so you can get it up a little bit more. You can still, of course, adjust your backrest and pull it forward or backwards to adjust your legroom. On this side, I'll just point out the fact, some other differences. We have a brightness adjuster here, electronic parking brake, which is a difference, and then also your traction control. All right, you want to come around to the side?
For sure.
Perfect.
All right, we are working with a little bit less space than usual today just because of how the cars were parked. But hopefully we can still get the picture just right. Rare footage of this door being open.
Yeah, that's mine and Gabby's office. We work in there. Work on the other side of the wall. All right, so here's a good look at what the seats look like. I like that they have a gray insert, just a little bit more of an interest in the design for sure. And then also the fact that you have that manual seat for your passenger too. So very nice to see.
Which is also height adjustable.
Which is also height adjustable. Matching seats, baby. Rock on. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the headroom in this vehicle. So this vehicle, it's pretty wide, it's pretty stretched. You have a great amount of leg room, especially in the front and especially in the rear, and shoulder room. However, you are going to have less actual headroom than you will in the Kia Seltos, which we will be able to take a look at in a couple minutes. Other than that, some of our main differences are going to be the configuration of the cabin. You'll probably already notice the fact that we have a different steering wheel. It's flat on the top, flat on the bottom, and it's got these little divots here to help you better see the speedometer and the tachometer. We're also going to have different software. So everything is digitized. However, this 4.2-inch screen is going to be the one that you're able to change with your steering wheel controls. So let me cycle back to the steering wheel. Both vehicles have a split between driving and media controls, and they're both very easy to use. Of course, from here, you'll be able to enable things like your smart cruise control, which you won't be able to do on the Seltos because it isn't equipped with that. But both are still going to have this notes icon where you're going to be able to go and cycle through that middle screen. So from here, you can see things like your TPMS, multi-way trip computer, same on both vehicles. And then on the Seltos, you'll also be able to access your driver's assistance, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. I need to stop saying that. All right, one of the big differences is definitely software, but also for your multimedia screen. So this is actually 12.3 inches. The fact that we're seeing that in a base trim is absolutely fantastic. And this has a really great wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto system. And I absolutely love this software. I think it's fantastic. It doesn't drop your phone for connectivity when you're listening to your podcast using your maps, or when you're listening to music. I almost said mucus, which is really gross. One area I do want to show you is driver's assistance, because it's going to be different in both vehicles. So if you want to go and adjust those safety features that Gabby mentioned on the exterior or I mentioned on the interior, this is going to be the place we are able to do so. But again, look at this huge screen. I love it. Super responsive, drop-down menu for customization, and you can go and move these icons too. You can actually move them over a page. That way you can really customize it and set it up the way that you want it to be set up.
So definitely more tech savvy in this car, right?
More tech savvy, more areas for customization, which is what I really like. Down below, you will notice that we have a mix of buttons and dials for our climate control and our media control. All of these buttons are going to say exactly as they say. And then for our media control, you have individual buttons. I like that these ones are not shared when it comes to the fan direction, but you're still very easily able to adjust temperature and fan speed too. Down below, tons of room here in this center area, and we have two different charge points. We have a USB-C if you want to use it for connectivity and for charging, another USB-C and a 12 volt. I think one of the big differences between these two vehicles is the fact that this one is standard push to start. And with push to start, you are going to, of course, get a proximity key. So obviously it's not keyed ignition. You don't necessarily need the key to unlock the doors or to hit the button. You can just hit the button on the exterior of the door. You have integrated remote start. You're also going to have integrated Kia Connect. So that's going to be your phone's telematics system. So if you want to precondition the cabin, utilize your location services, check the status of your vehicle and its health, you can do all of that through the comfort of your phone, standard. With this software, you also have over-the-air update capabilities, standard. Lots of things standard in the K4. Huge value for money for sure. You do have auto hold, so both vehicles are going to be equipped with, no, they're not. Only this one is, because the other one has a regular handbrake. Smart. You do have auto hold in this vehicle, so it will temporarily, if you're driving the vehicle and you bring the vehicle to a full and complete stop, it will allow you to take your brake off of the brake and hold you there until you go and put it back on the gas and you'll go to drive away. And both are still going to have that rear view camera with multiple viewpoints, so top down. This will come up when you're in reverse, and also your wide angle. Cup holders are different. Guillotine style. Your key fob is also going to look different. You have integrated remote start, like I mentioned. Center console, good amount of space in there. And you have LED interior lighting as well. Let's take a look at the back seat. You are also able to manually dim your rear view mirror. Now the K4, an area that it really shines has to do with the legroom. So the Seltos is going to have more front space, but believe it or not, the K4, depending on which model you're shopping and comparing with the Seltos, it's either going to have similar or more rear legroom than the Kia Seltos, which is crazy because there is definitely a size difference. Some of the things I like back here is the fact that we still have speakers, we have USB-Cs, and we have these seats that handy and double as a coat rack or a bag holder too, so I can really get the most out of that rear legroom. Both are going to have lower latch anchors, both are going to have sets of tethers, and we do not have any type of cup holders or anything here. You do, however, have a bottle holder mounted on the door. So I think it's time we take a look at the Kia Seltos.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to be a little tight.
Tight squeeze.
Okay.
Yeah, we parked these cars close today.
I'll just get in.
I'll just reiterate that it's not hitting, even though it looks like, no, there's space there. All right, I'm gonna come squeeze through here.
Come by. Okay. I'm just scared.
You're good.
Okay. I'm scared. Okay, so same elements when it comes to what we have here for controls. I like the difference in the speakers, and like I said, you do 6 speakers here and a little bit of a bigger bottle holder too. You still have those same height adjustable seats, which is really nice. So basically the same type of seat, the same type of configuration. They do look a little bit different, of course. We have a little bit of a different insert, more material, and a little bit of a blue haze to it as well, which I really like. I think it looks great. On this side, you'll notice the fact that you do have your brightness adjuster, idle stop and go, and your traction control. So idle stop and go, if you're driving the vehicle, you bring it to a stop, it's going to temporarily shut off your engine to reduce idle and aid you in the area of efficiency. If you don't like it, turn it off. And the nice thing is the second you put your foot back on the gas, you're going to hear that engine reignite and it's going to get you going. All right, do you want to come over?
All right. Don't mind the Honda Civic.
Okay. My screen's not turning on, my multimedia screen. I might actually have to turn it on. No, I tried that.
Turn the key a little more.
I just don't want to turn it on unless we open up. Come on. So good. Okay. It's okay. We'll keep going.
Let me try. Oh, I think the battery is on.
Yeah. I was gonna
about
say,
to
girl, I
die.
tried that. Don't worry.
Can you try to start the car?
Yeah.
If not, then we're gonna have to boost it, but we can try it. Yeah, the battery's
I
done.
could hear it clicking from outside.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. We love it when this happens, but that's okay because we can still keep going. Obviously, some areas that are going to look a little different. Steering wheel, your controls, still steering wheel mounted, still going to have the same feature, and you're still going to be able to use that notes icon to cycle through. It's just going to look a little bit different, and also what you can do with it. So instead of going in through your multimedia screen, you go to access your driver's assistance through this screen here. So still very easy to do so. Don't let it, make you feel worried or anything along those lines. But again, super easy to do so. You'll also notice the fact that we have keyed ignition, which Gabby and I were showing you guys, or trying to anyways. And then when it comes to your multimedia screen, we're going to see similar software to what we see for your instrument cluster. And I like the fact that it is framed in piano black, looks very premium, and you have real buttons and dials as well. Now, because we have a smaller screen, this vehicle is also capable of wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, because of the software differences, I do find the one in the K4 to be a little bit stronger. And for this type of software, I do actually prefer wired connectivity. For climate control, we have manual dials, which is nice to see. Easy to use, air conditioning, rear defrost, and of course you can go and adjust your fan direction. Down below, you have 3 different options: a 12 volt, a USB, which will be used for connectivity and charging, and then a USB-C for just charging. A huge difference between the two vehicles is going to be the inclusion of Drive Mode Select, which is only on the Seltos. You have to go up a trim for the K4. What Drive Mode Select is going to do, essentially as I turn this, you'll notice that I have 3 different options: normal, sport, and smart. Essentially, they're going to go and change things like the went back into driver's assistance. That's okay. But they're gonna go and change things like the powertrain's response, your steering, just depending on the type of drive mode that you put it in. So if you prefer the stiffness of a sport style, then you can certainly feel that when you're in sport mode. Or if you want just regular normal comfort, normal mode is going to do that for you. Heated seat controls located just where we like to see them. Your downhill braking assist as well. Now this is the front wheel drive variant. So if you are getting this vehicle available in all-wheel drive, all of this hardware is going to look the exact same. However, you are going to have the option to manually engage your locking differential. You do have a regular handbrake, cup holders that are fixed, center console, and then not too much going on. We do have bulb lighting. I don't know why I pressed both of those, but I did. So let's take a look at the second row.
Back seat review.
I love the speaker detailing. I think it looks really cool. Now, I will say, I think that the K4 is probably set up a little bit better in terms of amenities. You don't have USB-Cs or anything like that back here. You do still have door-mounted bottle holders, nothing still in the center. You have sets of lower latch anchors. You also have sets of rear tethers on the back, of course. But I will say the headroom is absolutely fantastic. I actually drove a Kia Seltos for a couple years and really enjoyed it. It was more than capable to get me through the winter, and also I was able to fill every seat in the house, because that's what college students do, right? Legroom, again, is still great. You do have a little bit more in the K4. I will give it a lot of credit for the fact that we have a very wide middle seat here. It's actually almost the same width as our regular seats. So very cool to see. Great use of the space. Okay, that pretty much sums it up. So I guess let's talk about who would benefit from what vehicle.
Sam said, can we make a video about how to jumpstart a car Gabi and Charlotte style?
Oh, no, literally. Literally.
Especially with winter now. So obviously it's freezing cold. I think yesterday, today, and tomorrow, negative 15 degrees. It's very, very cold. So batteries die way quicker.
Especially with vehicles that aren't being driven. They're literally sitting.
So I'll show you guys. We actually have stock units now. So we have a bunch of cars parked, and they still got a lot of snow on them. Some of these cars don't exactly get driven every day, so the batteries do die. Yeah, it's cold out. And then, of course, when we have them in the video bay with the lights running for extended periods of times and the engine not on, that helps drain the battery too. So jumper cables, or I guess more so booster packs. We keep that on deck in the winter.
Mm-hmm. You need to. Yeah, okay. It's unfortunate.
I also just might make a point that we said a lot of features that the K4 didn't have or the Seltos doesn't have, and that doesn't mean those vehicles aren't able to get them. It's just not available on the LX models, because again, these are the two entry trim levels for both vehicles.
Yeah, so this is the K4 is an introductory vehicle if you want a Kia sedan. It's actually the only option that you really have, and the Seltos is going to be the introductory if you want a SUV.
Yes. So with that being said, what are some benefits of the K4 versus the Seltos and vice versa?
Okay, so the K4, or wait, do you want to do sedan and I'll do SUV?
Sure.
That's how we go?
Yes.
Okay.
So with the sedan, you're going to get the better fuel efficiency. You're also going to get a lot more tech standard on this vehicle, LEDs, push to start, remote start, that kind of thing. Oh, remote start.
Gabby misses that now.
Remote start.
She doesn't have it anymore.
Remote start, you guys. Another thing is this might be a preference for you or it might be a disadvantage, but sedan-like handling and sedan feel. Sedans typically feel a little bit more fun to drive. Even though this isn't a performance sedan, it's a little bit more nimble than the Seltos, I'll say that. But you do have, do you want me to go into cons too?
Let's do pros first, then we'll do cons.
Okay,
how about that? For pros for the Seltos, obviously you get increased ride height and you also get increased ground clearance, so something that may be a little bit more capable if you do have to deal with the snow drifts that we do outside. Another win for the Seltos, I will say, is the fact that it is available with the same equipment, front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, so that's a benefit in my opinion. I like the cargo space, and something I've always said about the Kia Seltos is the fact that it's going to fit a lot of different lifestyles. There's a lot of things that you can do with it. You can put an accessory hitch on the back. It's not rated for towing, but it's going to fit, if you've got kids, if you have some more adventurous or space-taking up hobbies. This vehicle does a really great job of being well-equipped for that. What else do I like about it? I like a lot of things about it. Yeah, it's a good vehicle.
Yeah. Trim variability for both these vehicles, too, is also a huge pro. You can get the basic, which isn't even bare bones for either of them, or you can get fully loaded, and both of them are very impressive. Cons, I feel, for the K4, and some of them are actually pros for other people, so you really have to
evaluate your lifestyle.
You got to see what you feel best with. So cons, reduced ground clearance is obviously a lower vehicle, also front-wheel drive only. That's not really a con for me, but it could be for you. Also, lower ride height too. If you're someone who's used to sitting up taller, maybe you've only driven SUVs or only driven trucks, it's going to be a bit of a difference. That's about it, because everything else is better. The price point's better, the fuel efficiency's better. The tech is better.
So for cons, I mean, obviously this vehicle is more expensive. However, if you do compare it with the price for the front wheel drive, it's $25,695, with the K4 being $23,995, so pretty close in price. Obviously, they're going to be more expensive, the all-wheel drive, $27,000. I think that is a fantastic value for money, though. I will toss that out there. I know that's a pro. But for cons, some of the cons I will say is it's definitely not as tech-forward as something like the K4. I would love to see more advanced safety, especially on this, and also the software. The software is a huge thing for me, and I think that this is a beneficial vehicle where it would be great to see Kia Connect integrated into the introductory trim. So, you got that.
How was that, you guys?
Yeah. Now you guys let us know what you think.
Did that help? Was it not helpful?
We showed you the facts, gave you our opinion. Now you get to tell us yours.
Yes.
Or roast us in the comments.
Let us know which one you're picking, you guys, and what trim level too, because it doesn't have to be the LX. We also would like you to let us know what video you'd like to see next and what vehicles you'd like. Again, very long video today, very crazy video.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry
really
about that.
losing my ability to speak. So.
Yes. On that note, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, you guys.